Shalom, shalom. Once again, it's your brother here, Ezra Ben Khazar, the Hebrew. We out here. All right, now. So in this video today, let's talk about Hungarian history. For those of you who don't know much about Hungarian history, I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just sharing my research. But Hungarians come from a tribe called Magyars. And Magyars used to be citizens of the Khazar Empire. Magyars, because of the Pechenegs coming in from the east, Magyars had to leave the Khazar Empire, and they also left with a tribe of Khazars named, or a couple of tribes, I think it's like three, who weren't Magyars, but they were called Kabars, and they were said to be elites from the Khazars. Now, I want to talk about the Magyars' conquest of Hungary and how they started the nation of Hungary. Because a topic that was on my mind was Arthur Koestler's book, The 13th Tribe. A lot of people don't understand why he wrote the book and why he overemphasized his theory to include all Jews, when really he was mainly speaking of Hungarian Jews. Because Arthur Koestler is Hungarian, a Hungarian Jew. So I want to bring out this paper. It's called Hungarian Jewish Stories of Origin, Samuel Kohn, the Khazar Connection and the Conquest of Hungary. I want to talk about a rabbi named Samuel Kohn, and I also want to talk about something called Neolog Judaism. Neolog Judaism is a Hungarian Judaism practiced by Jews who lived in Hungary, who felt Hungarian in their soul. They felt Hungarian, but they also felt Jewish as well in their soul. And they attribute this connection within themselves to the Khazars. And that's why they feel Jewish, and that's why they feel Hungarian. So I want to start on page 3 of this paper, which for some reason it says page 54. But we're going to read, and I'll put a picture of it, and we can follow along. All right, so it says, I'll start up here. Since Hungarian nationalist historians claim that Hungarians had non-European Oriental origins, the perceived Oriental origins of Jews cast them as aliens in other European countries. Yet in Hungary, one of the ways in which Neolog Jews embraced Magyarization was by presenting themselves to the Hungarians as fellow Orientals. Arguments surrounding the presumed kinship between Hungarians and Jews were extensively published in the Neolog communal and scholarly journals. That's that Neolog Judaism, including the most popular form of this Oriental origin discourse, the Khazar ancestry theory, which asserted that Hungarian Jews, not all Jews, Hungarian Jews, and not even all Hungarian Jews, because Jews migrate so much that there's a lot of E and J marker Jews amongst Hungarian Jews. Now let's continue. Which asserted that Hungarian Jews were not ethnically Semitic, but rather Hungarian. Another comment I want to add is that my haplogroup goes back to Hungarian conquerors. I'll bring that up in my next video, y'all willing. But I also have Ashkenazi Jewish within my autosomal, even though I'm a black man. But I'm assuming that these two things are connected. Let's continue to this next paragraph. Samuel Kohn in 1841 to 1920, that's the time he was alive, was a Neolog rabbi scholar whose work investigated the ethnicity and religion of those present at the time of the Hungarian conquest. Kohn pioneered the historiography of Hungarian Jewry and received his doctorate from the Jewish Theological Seminary of Breslau in 1865, where he was a student of the influential Jewish historian Heinrich Gratz. So how people going to question the OG Heinrich Gratz? 1817, 1891. In 1866, he became the rabbi of Pest and actively promoted the establishment of the Neolog Rabbinic Seminary in Budapest, founded in 1877, where he taught homiletics between 1899 and 1905. Kohn was the author who best articulated the Khazar ancestry theory, which posits an ethnic and or religious connection between Jews and Hungarians due to their shared history during the Rus Khaganate in the Caucasus before the conquest of Hungary. Kohn combined multiple arguments exploring possible ethnic and religious connections between ancient Hungarians, Khazars, and Jews to prove the presence of Jews among the conquering Hungarians. He circumvents the question of which theory is accurate. You know what? I just thought we might have some proof of Jews amongst the conquering Hungarians. I'm going to put that in my next video. There might be proof of that. Let's continue. By using Jewishness interchangeably to describe religious and ethnic affiliation. Kohn used the Khazar argument to elevate Judaism to an quote-unquote original religion of the Hungarians in order to promote indirectly the reception of Judaism as a national religion on par with Christianity. For those who know, the Hungarians, they love the Messiah. So he's saying that Judaism was just as popping in Hungary. There could have been Messianic Jews, which I think Kohn also wrote a book about Messianic Jews. This next sentence, let's continue. The dual nature of Kohn's argument is what gives the Khazar theory its power. Kohn used it to reason for both religious and ethnic historical connections. He claimed that, subsequently, no ethnic barriers exist between the Hungarians and Jews to prevent them from coexisting at present. Judaism was therefore presented as an equally adequate religion to Christianity, and indeed a faith that Jews and Hungarians even used to share. No other origin hypothesis could provide religious as well as ethnic affiliation simultaneously. The ability to serve both purposes was paramount at the time when the Hungarian ethnic and national belonging of Jews was questioned due to anti-Semitism. And that's the main point. Kohn, Koestler, these brothers came up with this theory based off of historical research of how Hungary was created. Magyars came from Khazaria. Kabars were a part of the Magyars. It was math to them, historical math to them. 1 + 1 = 2. There had to be Jewish Magyars, Jewish Qabars amongst the conquerors. Let's continue reading. And when the legalization or reception of the Jewish religion was still an unsettled issue, Kohn's argument served as a plea for reception by showing the Hungarians' long engagement with Judaism, dating back to the Khazar Empire, and that Hungarians and Jews conquered the land of Hungary together. The Khazar past narrative could not be made anywhere else in Europe due to the lack of Oriental identification and conquest stories. So he's saying that this history could be clearly seen in Hungary because the story of how Hungary was made is so clearly established. You had the Magyars, you had the Qabars, you had the Blood Oath, and then you had, almost an Arpad coming through and wrecking it and establishing Hungary. I just want to read a little bit more of this paper and the rest of the segment about Kohn and this beginning segment. And maybe later we'll go back into this paper. But this next paragraph says, in 1905, Kohn became the Chief Rabbi of Budapest. The fact that he was an enthusiastic supporter of the Magyarization of the Neolog rabbinate is evident in his works, such as Hebrew sources and additions to the history of Hungary, Jewish historical monuments with peculiar emphasis on Hungary, that was released in 1896 as articles in a journey of the IMIT. These works were foundational in shaping the Neolog community's historical outlook. However, it is his History of the Jews in Hungary from the beginning until the Battle of Mohacs, published in 1885, That is his most significant exploration of Hungarian Jewish connections via the Khazars. The same year, months before this book's publication, the Rabbinic Seminary's scholarly historical journal, the Hungarian Jewish Review, published a shortened version of its chapter on the Khazars. In the same year, the communal popular weekly Equality, published the first part of this book in 3 installments, followed by the entire book in further installments, as well as revised editions of the book in the 1900s, or 1900. The reception of Kohn's work was multifaceted, as well as revised editions of the book. Oh, excuse me, I read the same thing. Let me start that sentence over. Excuse me, y'all. The reception of Kohn's work was multifaceted, as Miklos Conrad outlines in great detail. It became very popular and influential between Jewish circles, even though some respected neológ intellectuals, such as scholar Rabbi Sander Buchler in his History of Jews in Budapest since the beginning to 1867, published in 1901, received it with skepticism. You know, that's common. You know, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Kohn's theory was also not well received in Hungarian academic circles, as exemplified in a review by Gyula Nagy, a member of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, in the journal Centuries. Nagy criticized not only the argument, but also the methodology and thus the scientific worth of Kohn's book. But we also know that it was heavy anti-Semitism during this time, which is why Kohn even wrote the book in the first place. So I agree with Kohn. I believe he knows what he's talking about, including Judah Halevi, who people try to say that he didn't know what he was talking about either, which we'll read in this next paragraph, and then we'll probably end it here. Despite the book's failure in Hungarian academic circles, it was a breakthrough piece of scholarship because it set out to give a comprehensive narrative of Hungarian Jewry from the beginning of Hungarian history. The book retained its value despite the fact that Kohn never finished the second part of the history spanning the Battle of Mohacs to the present. Kohn's work also established his version of the Khazar theory that represents a climax of apologetic historiography of Hungarian Jewry, arguing for the acceptance of Jews into Hungarian society. He was not the first Jew to invent the Khazar theory, as Conrad illustrates. The topic of the Khazar connection had been very popular for centuries in Jewish circles, in both Hungary as well as other countries in Eastern Europe, as attested to by the multiple published translations and editions of the Khazari, the apologetic book about the Jewish Khazars, written by Yehuda Halevi in the 12th century, that in many ways originated the hypothesis. And Yehuda Halevi was just telling you things that he heard from Chazda ibn Shaprut and those before him. This is established tradition. However, even as in the 19th century, the Jewish scholars discussed the Khazar roots of Eastern European Jewry. It remained a singular Jewish interest and was barely mentioned in non-Jewish Eastern European circles outside of Hungary and Russia. As demonstrated by Peter Golden, in Hungary, it was a popular theory due to the Oriental historical narratives of Hungarian origin. And that's where we'll stop for now. Perhaps we'll read a little bit more later because this is an interesting paper. But yes, we'll go deeper into Hungarian Khazar Jewish history. But now you have more context of why the 13th tribe was written, and Hungarian Jewry's connection to the Khazar Empire. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and until next time, like, comment, subscribe if you got something to say. And blessings.